Okay, well, the first thing I get is the woman who I drew on the picture. So she's again it's that 30s, 40s kind of time period as far as the theater. Maybe a little bit earlier, usually when you look at my drawing, I wasn't quite sure. I would say 20s, I'm not sure if that's just a tad too early. And that's immediately what I get in here. And I also feel like, I don't know if this was like I guess I should just go ahead and say what I see and then not try to figure it out, but there are a lot of kids coming in here. So a lot of kids. So I'm not sure if this was something else besides a theater, something to do with kids that was before it was a theater or after it was a theater or something, just because of all these little kids I see. Or were they coming to see a movie? But there's a lot of little kids all like this high, all coming in droves. And maybe they did this maybe after, I don't know. It just seems like it's coordinated, if that makes any sense. It doesn't seem like their parents are bringing them here. It seems like this was with school or something like that. That's why I kept saying school, because it just seemed like they were all organized. Not like, this parents coming in and those parents bringing their kids. It seemed as a whole. Just like the other bit, what is this thing about talking about war and politics? So again, this might be right before the war hit, like because that seems to be in the air. And I do feel that this building, maybe it was in the like after the 1950s, perhaps, it's around there, that this building too kind of went through a bit of a slump. But it would have been after the 50s, so we would have been in that 1960s era. It just doesn't seem as popular, sort of like theaters aren't popular today. It took a bit of a nosedive with that. And then you get, after the little kids, there's a lot of couples that I see here. And there almost seems to be a resurgence of energy in this place. Like before it's all like smaller kids. And I'm not saying there weren't any adults, and then suddenly it's all about couples. And that might have been having to do with the movies that they've shown here. Maybe things became a bit more adult. I guess that's what I'm getting at, is that it seemed more juvenile. Maybe it was those squeaky clean kind of movies and stuff geared towards little kids and stuff. And it might have even been very simple kind of movies, right? And then suddenly it became slightly more adult themed. I don't mean, I meant just more adult kind of movies being, being shown here. So, like that. Okay, can we move on?
Yeah, do you want to go up?
Okay. Oh my God. Huh. I'm trying not to date the chairs in my head, but just to read it, because these look so old. So it could be 30s, 40s, but it might have been before that. But, I want to get, because then we know it was a theater and they would have played movies here. I also see someone on the back of they're riding out front, and this has something to do with the theater. So whether it was like a celebrity come to town on the back of like a convertible kind of car. Okay. But this, I don't know how old this is, but this is really old. But besides the theater, I want to say there's some importance of kids being in here and then being taught something. They use this to come and like teach them something, show them something. And this might have been before the war. And I know all this is older than that, but that is the main thing I keep picking up is about that. I would have said whenever this would have been packed at an earlier date, like people really would have come to watch movies in its heyday, like right when it was done. But I still feel like there would have been tons of little kids that would have come here. Also, some kind of announcements being made. But I'm trying not to think about this, but they would have had something like announcements about the wartime, like a preview to the movie.
Now, there's an auditorium behind this wall. If we went outside, you would see where the auditorium was besides this.
Okay. Because you know how they would have had a previews that would have been about like war bonds or war effort, and boy, there's that kind of energy in the air, and maybe that stuck here because there was a lot of fear behind that, and fear tends to leave a very heavy imprint, and it just seems to be that in the air of anticipation, fear, don't know what's going to happen, that kind of thing. And I would have thought that in association with that, with showing movies. And like I said, trying to think about things, but now that I think about it, wouldn't they have shown that before a movie would have been played? Okay, let's move on. It's hot. You're right. It's awfully hot. Oh wow, in a bathroom. Oh my God, John, look at this. Wow. Wow. I want to stop and take a photo. That way I can get some photos. I'm sorry, I got my water with me. Here at Frank's Theater in Abbeville. I was here last night with the spirits doing an investigation, and this is the spirit that I drew that visited this theater a lot, and it was a very important place to her. And as you can see, she's kind of like her hat, it has a 1930s flair to it, and I got that time period in particular with this theater. I do think that they did get some things that happened here last night on their investigation. But I want to say that she also loves to sing, and that was a very important part of her life. And someone who was there last night thinks that they know who this lady was and that she did sing a lot for different functions in the town. Although this would be a younger version of her. But just this theater is just a gift of history. The theater seats are amazing. The projector upstairs where I felt there was a man that practically lived up there. most of the time, playing movies. It's just the atmosphere is just wonderful. It's like going back in time. And I hope that one day they get to restore this place, its original glory, and to the public can enjoy it.